Want to say happy Saturday, the 26th of February. But I first like to start off with acknowledging and sending my condolences to Kim Hall Manzi and Matthew Hall on the passing of their father. I did not even know that. Now, usually in the community, everybody tells me everything, but of one of the things that I should have been aware of, this was one of them that I wasn't abreast of. And so, as they buried their father today, Pee Wee was a great man. So my condolences goes out to the family. I want to start off with that first. I want to say that I'm coming to you today because it's almost the last days, 2 more days before the month of February is ending, and that means that it's the end of Black History Month. And want to just preference our event tomorrow on a special edition of Brother Can We Talk. We are going to talk about those particular two questions that I asked. Is Black history still important in the Black community? And has the Black culture been compromised? Now, from someone who is in a generation that I have been blessed to grow up in and have witnessed some of the movements that have taken place to make changes in this country, I want to ask that question out to my audience. Is Black history still important in the Black community? And why would I ask that? For those who may know me and for those who may not know me, but of those who have researched me, know that I've been very active in the development of people, and especially those people who serve and look like me. Very, very cognizant of my legacy being one that's determined by those who come after me. And so I have to share what I was given so that you'll be able to grow in your development and continue to build the legacy of the Black culture in this country. Now, one of the things that's really has been disturbing to me is that uh, I've looked online, I've looked a lot of places, and I've seen the dwindling of Black History programs. Some of them I've seen have been very commercial. They have talked about those who most of us have heard about our entire life. It's been those who they say are the reason for us to be grateful for the accomplishments that we've made. But there's a whole lot of underlining information that many of you have not been exposed to. And it's not because you've been exposed to it, it's that you choose not to be exposed to it because you've been um, inundated with the fact that a simulation has occurred and now you are equal. But you saw over the last few years that you are not even considered close to being equal. And so one of the things I want to really share is that over the last few days, I'm really not a big TV watcher, but I end up watching this documentary that was put together by Will Smith. Not sure if you saw it, but it's called Amend. And Amend is really talking about the 14th Amendment and what the 14th Amendment did for the ratification of slavery. But what it really shows is there's a lot of information that was never shared in your history books or shared in the history black history programs or shared on social media or shared by those who have been uh, requested to present black history programs. And if you watch that program, you'll get to see a lot of the historical journeys and a lot of the historical hiccups that were faced in what we believe um, the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. And so I would just advise you, for me not to go into it and waste a lot of this uh, precious time, is for you to take a moment and look at that. You may look at it in segments, you may get some information, or you may not even care. But why I asked the question, is Black history still important to the Black culture? Because I think that in one of the books that I was talking about in one of my previous uh, statements or sessions was that in Chancellor Williams' book, in the beginning, it talks about the great people of Sumer. And it says that a man walks up on the wise man and he says, what happened to the people of Sumer? Because I heard they were black. And the wise man says, they died because they lost their culture. And so when we talk about the culture, it depends on what generation you come from. It depends on how you define blackness. It depends on a lot of factors. But one of the things that I want to share with you is that I went to the mall yesterday to drop off some items that needed to be done for an event that we're having. And as I was in the mall, I heard there was some young kids in the mall, I guess just getting out of school, and the narrative for which they were sharing their information amongst each other was very disturbing. A lot of profanity, a lot of nigger this, nigger that, a whole bunch of niggers being spewed. Now, most people who are in the categories for which I come from believe and know the pain that that word uh, can inflict on you. But the one thing that spent a lot of time looking at was the reaction of the other people in the mall. I watched the reaction of the white shoppers, the Asian shoppers, the actual Latinos who were in the store for which I was in, and how they looked at the kids. And so I really couldn't evaluate what they were thinking, but if you look at a facial expression, what they said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And these kids were just spewing it like no other. And they were screaming down the hall in the mall, just all kind of stuff. And so I was wondering, do they really understand? And I'm not going to even go into that; it's a whole different conversation. But I was really understanding, want to know if they understood the power of the impact of that word. Because as I watched some of the protests previously to the Black Lives Matter, a lot of people were upset at the word usage of the word nigger, and they try to defend it by saying it's a term, a word of endearment. And the more we use it, the less power it will have. But then I see someone who is not of African American descent use it, and then they get stomped. So if it's a word of endearment, how could someone get stomped for using it if it's a word of endearment? And then I happened to watch, they were showing something about the history of hip hop, and they had some of the concerts, and 80% of the people in the audience were white, and they were playing the songs, and as soon as the word nigga came up and all of that stuff came up, the white people were allowed to say it. The reason why is because they were paying for you to be on stage. So that just goes to show that you, in the usage of the word, it has two different meanings from you and two different opportunities for you to actually understand the meaning of the word. So let me get off that word real quick because I really don't want to stay on it and concentrate on it. But I want to ask again, is the question, is black history still important in the black community? Because one of the things that we have been able to I want to say advance through is that we've been able as people of the African descent have been able to withstand the pressures and all of the toxins and abuse that has come through 300 plus years of enslavement. And I don't want people to ever think that the slaves agreed to that. There were more revolts than history would ever repeat or whatever would tell you, because of the fact that they don't want you to think that the people resisted the slavery and they thought that they deserved to be in slavery. But there were more revolts. If you do some really historical digging and go to those scholars who have been able to uh, retrieve that information from those who have been enslaved, you will see that there were thousands and thousands of revolts that were never written down because they didn't want you to think that the slaves weren't happy. We've made it through uh, black codes. We've made it through the inception of the KKK. We've made it through Jim Crow. We made it through civil rights. We made it through the Black Power movement. I'm not saying all of those last two are not bad, but they were movements. And we've actually also made it through um, the war on drugs. A lot of our communities have been devastated by the usage of heroin, the cocaine epidemics, the crack epidemics, all of those things. And we have come out still with some dignity. So you have to truly understand that you are designed to be great. And what does great look like to you? How do you define greatness? What does greatness look like going forward for you? We have to truly understand, will we allow Black history to be told by someone else? Or will we define our Black history as we would like it to be projected going forward? But there's a few things that we must do. And these are solutions that I would like to present to people. One, we need to change the narrative on how we allow our children to speak and how we speak to our children. If you are incapable of raising children, don't have them. Don't have them. I mean, I understand you may like the act, which gives you the opportunity to have children, but protect yourself. Don't bring in children in the world if your mental wellness is not fully balanced. And nobody's is going to ever be fully balanced, but understand what it means for you to be involved in that. So there was a quote. There's one of my favorite quotes that I use that always talks about. It states, "The devastation of an empire begins in the heart of the young, in the astuteness of the adults, in the eyes of the old, but essentially in the language of our citizens." Again, it says the devastation of an empire begins in the heart of the young, in the astuteness of the adults, in the eyes of the old, but essentially in the language of its citizens. The reason why I say that and why is at the heart, because young hearts are developed by those who are put on this planet to nurture them. You develop their heart, and how you develop their heart is how they develop to grow and to treat people. In the astuteness of the adults, we weren't created to be buffoons. We weren't created to be buffoons at all. So buffoonery, if you think buffoonery is that of Black greatness, you're only fooling yourself. And I know that buffoonery is the reason that so many of us have been devastated by these policies and laws that have been put in place to keep us down, because of the buffoonery, because of the act that you believe that your actions represent Blackness. Nah, no, sir. No, ma'am, it doesn't. Please check yourself. Do me a favor. When you begin to behave in an inappropriate manner, go in a room or in the bathroom and say that same information to yourself, and then see how it resonates in your soul before you go out and say it to somebody else. In the eyes of the old are the eyes to the soul. And that's how you know how people are reacting, because if you look in someone's eyes, you can tell what their soul is eventually, or is processing. So you need to do that. And in the essentially in the language of its citizens, how you speak is how you'll be treated. It's the narrative that you use to define yourself. So all of the things that you do, the way that you speak to people, is the way that people will treat you. You can't speak to people disrespectful and think that people are going to receive that and not treat you in a disrespectful manner also. So you have to understand that's the way that things are going. Also, what we need to do is we now need to start, for those who have believed they've made it, you need to start going back, getting some kids, finding out what their interests are, and showing them the blueprint that will give them an opportunity to be valuable, viable, and valued citizens. If our Black history and culture is going to be processed and is going to be respected and is going to go down as the most, I want to say, resourceful and also group of individuals who have been able to overcome anything that man has put on this earth, then we have to change the way that our young generation now sees themselves, receives how they are perceived, and eventually we will change the narrative for the way that um, we will design our legacy in this world going forward. Now, we will be doing, like I said earlier in the show, we will be doing a Zoom tomorrow on a special edition of Brother Can We Talk. We will be talking about just that. Is Black history important in the Black community? But the one thing that we will be talking about that I want to let you all know about, if you don't join the Zoom, if you listen to this message, is go to the state of Florida and look at SB 147, I believe, or 148. It's a law that's being put on the books to address, I want to say, individual, gosh, I forgot the last part. Individual Freedoms Act. That's what it's called, the Individual Freedoms Act. And what it is it's trying to dispute critical race theory on white people feeling offended for blacks talking about the disparities that have happened in this country. Now, some of you may have heard about it in Florida, but the one thing that I want to let you know is that in 7 other states, it's also been put on the Senate floor for approval. I don't know how many states have voted on it already, but I do know that Idaho is one of the states that has passed it. This is not to say that your state is not going to be one of those states that also will sneak this in. So it's only been happening for the last year, and 8 states already have taken this to their Senate floor. So for all of those who may know some senators, who may know some politicians in your community, you have to ask them, is this on the state floor? The Individual Freedoms Act. It's so that people who haven't suffered this travesty of enslavement don't feel guilty or get their feelings hurt about the conversations that have happened historically in this country. Those are the things that are happening right up under your nose, but you're too busy out there trying to assimilate into something and trying to design this culture of blackness that is so toxic that it doesn't give our children or our generations a chance to be educated. And again, like I said, valued, viable, and valuable citizens. That's what we need to be working on. That's what we need to be working on. I won't be here in 30 years to see the effects of this, but I can see what's happening now. And if somebody doesn't bring it to anybody's attention, then it's going to continue to roll downhill without any resistance. So hopefully you all can join us tomorrow. It's on Zoom. Brother, Can We Talk? It's 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Mountain, 3 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. And we're asking the question, is the Black history still important to the Black community? We not only invite the people of my mature level to be on these calls, we definitely need to hear from our children. So if you're listening, you have children, invite them to the Zoom. You can send me an email and I'll send you the link. My email is rorytedwards.com. You see it on my head. That's why I put it up there so you don't have to say you didn't know how to spell it. Rory T. Edwards, my email, rorytedwards1 at gmail.com. Once again, rorytedwards1 at gmail.com. So, in conclusion, I just want to say thank you very much for listening. Hopefully, you will continue to enlighten your children, enlighten those who you come in contact with, that Black history doesn't just take place in the month of February for 28 days. Black history is world history. Black history is 365 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Black history is world history. Black history is your history. Make your Black history exceptional. Make your Black history extraordinary. Never settle for mediocrity. Never settle for mediocrity. This is your man, Rory T. Edwards. If you need to reach me, you can do the email, rorytedwards1 at gmail.com, or send me something on my website, www.rorytedwards.com. Everything is my name because I'm not hard to find. And I welcome all comments, questions, and concerns. Definitely thank you for the time, and I wish you all a great rest of your weekend. So until we talk again, you all be blessed. Ashe.